All right. Hi, Ona.
Hi.
Welcome,
Hi.
everybody. Welcome to Mystic Sisters Live, September 28th, 2024. Um, and I did title this, Is This the End of an Age? But we can talk about anything because, we don't always like to talk about age.
Yeah, I know. It was and the end of it too. But that was really kind of what sort of set the tone with how I was thinking of, you know, things to talk about for this episode, and that was like things are rapidly changing in a way that like you have no control over it.
Well,
But we
yes.
got you ready.
Isn't that, yeah, yeah. Be prepared. But hey, Wendy's, what's that expression? Wendy's in the, well, anyway, Wendy's here. There's an expression that is completely lost. I've completely lost. So what a week. What a week. This Helene is
How was yours?
mine was lovely. When so many people are suffering, you feel a little guilty about that. But I it was a beautiful week. We went to the Cape on Wednesday. It was a beautiful day. Today was a beautiful day.
Yeah.
But tomorrow might not be. So I say enjoy the days while you have them. Hi, Sylvia.
Yeah. I said, yeah. It
So
was, remember we talked about that a flooding the eclipse and the energy that it's generating in the
yeah,
signs that,
well,
and, you know,
especially the full moon, right?
and the full
Full
moon.
moon.
I just hope everybody really, truly um, evacuated when it was called for and had this in the back of your mind as you learn and pick up this astrology concepts. You're like, oh, yeah, yeah, that's what happened when that happened.
Yeah, yeah, and I've actually been looking because we were talking about this in class the other night that the three transpersonal planets were all at the last degrees of. In the case of Pluto, it's in Capricorn. In the case of Pisces, I mean Neptune is in Pisces, and Uranus is pretty far into to the end of Taurus, and all of those energies are interacting with each other right now, creating like this mini, it's almost like a mini grand trine, but it's not quite a grand trine. And so all of those energies are about dissolving the boundaries of Saturn in the ways that they do it. Uranus tends to blow things up, Pluto tends to erupt, Neptune tends to like dissolve, right? So there's a lot of water, there's a lot of, where you realize that, we're all in this sort of sea together. And these storms just seem to be like pointing that out. As it is, and once the sun goes into Scorpio, and then Venus is in Scorpio, and then Mercury will be in Scorpio. I mean, that's a lot of water with Pisces and Neptune in Pisces and Neptune. Listen to me, Saturn and Neptune in Pisces,
Yeah.
and then the North Node in January is going to move into Pisces, and
Yes.
Neptune is right there. So the beginning of the year, we have all of this Neptunian energy with the North Node and Mars retrograde in Cancer. So the water stuff is gonna stay around, I think.
That's what I was going to say. You can connect it, any one of these things that are occurring that you mentioned to a water sign, or the ruler of that sign is in water.
Right.
So it's like super deep. Wait till you see. I have a couple of videos. I'm going to put them together of the hurricane effect on Lake Michigan yesterday. Well, it was like Friday night, today, and tomorrow. Yesterday was my best chance to have sunshine, because it's just been kind of cloudy and it is very intense.
Yeah, you're getting this. You're getting the wind from Helene.
The
Hi,
boat
hi,
is
Suzanne.
moving.
Just saying hi to Suzanne, Judy, Paula. We had a beautiful day today, Paula, didn't we? It was lovely in Massachusetts. Um, and of
Oh
course,
gosh.
we send all our love to all our friends and family in the, in the eye of this storm. This is. I know Asheville is was under they almost had a dam burst, but that has stopped. But it's, and I have a lot of clients in that area, in that
That's,
state.
yeah. Those mountains are no joke.
No joke.
When there's like something that like that occurs, there's rocks falling off onto the highway, the only way on the side that's carved out of the side of the mountain. I don't want to be like a Debbie Downer. They've reported 40 plus people have, lost their lives
Paris.
over this.
The last I heard was 50.
And
But
this,
this is 4 5 states, so we don't even know the total.
there are so many people off the grid in those
Yeah.
remote Appalachian, like
Yeah.
even in Gatlinburg, even where there's like Dollywood was closed, that never happened. Never. So I live down there, so it's awful. It's awful.
It's hard in the mountains because it's like, when in California, when they have the fires, the mountains themselves create an intensified environment. And of course, water
Yeah.
is the same way because it can only go down. It's gonna go to its lowest point. So every place where things sort of go down is going to be inundated, and it's really something to consider. And I think in a way, weather is just, it's kind of a reminder that we can chit chat and argue about all kinds of political things, but people are in dire need, and we need to take care of each other, because there's it's not the government's not always going to be there to do it. You know what I mean? I mean, they'll do their best, but at
Yeah.
some point, when too many things happen all at once, we have to be each other's best support.
And we do, we don't have just the National Guard that was dispatched, but we have our ComEd, which is our electrical
Right.
company that has dispatched a bunch of people down there. Like they are really hustling in, like, honestly, truly, this was pretty catastrophic.
Yeah. Yeah. Aloha from Suzanne. She had successful cataract surgery. Congratulations, Suzanne. We're happy for you.
I bet it was a lovely week.
Yeah, you're probably going to see it even more lovely than you did before. You'll realize that you live in paradise, even more so, Suzanne.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hello, Joy. Joy is here. Yay! I love that. What a great name, right?
That
Joy.
is a great name.
That's a great name to have. My name means conqueror. So I don't know if people want to see me coming, but what is
Like
your
it.
name mean?
Ona, I don't know. I'd have to look it up. But every time I tell somebody, the most frequent responses I get that was my grandma's name.
There was
Most frequent response.
I sent you a program once about Ona, the slave who escaped from the Washingtons, and how so it's a pretty I would imagine it means the one and only. That's what I would imagine.
I've been working on that all weekend, doing a lot of art, trying to get the inventory up and get it shipped out. So, I love me a good Leo moon. Let's just go there.
I know.
And I love when the moon's in Leo, and I get a lot of work done.
Wendy says Project 2025 calls to dismantle the National Oceanographic and atmospheric administration. They're just the projects. I'm glad people know that it's there, but and that we're voting to
Yeah.
prevent it. But I think we just have to like say no, that we're not doing that, and not even entertain those ideas.
Yeah, we're not doing that. And it's not like you can just, fold up the satellites and zip up the canvas back
Yeah,
and
yeah,
shut
it's
Noah
silly.
down. It's
It's
like,
silly.
it's
All it
Noah.
is everything that was there. They don't want that no more. Is they want the president to be in charge of everything.
Right,
Which,
right. It's,
like that would be, if, and this isn't going to happen, of course, but if he wins, right, it's either going to be him or it's going to be Vance. So yeah, the world would be in great hands. It's unbelievable.
it's
I
not
just,
gonna, don't anybody worry about nothing. But I did run a parallel line. I saw a little bit of the last Midas Touch video they just put out, and I have to say that his decline, now he could be obviously medicated, but this decline was is as bad as when we asked Joe to kind of reevaluate what's going on here. Why isn't anybody suggesting the same thing?
because it's his. They don't, I think they don't want any. Well, I think there are those people who put Vance in who have a plan. But beyond that, I think the rest of the Republicans are just stepping back and saying, "All right, let's see where the cards fall, and then we'll have to rebuild."
It's like when they let the prince drive the Aston Martin around the castle, his little car, because they knew he was going to crash it. So they closed the gates and they let him just like let him do these things, even though they know he's going to crash.
Yeah,
Is that bad?
yeah, yeah. And I think we can poo-poo it all, and we can like, you know, um, laugh at him and say he's going to lose, and I do think he's going to lose, but there's all kinds of movement all over the world now. Like we're so focused on this silly, and it's not a silly election. It's probably the most consequential one we've had. But there are all kinds of stuff happening in the world that we are. Um, I don't know if we'd say we're blind to. You got to look for it. There's just so much information coming at everybody right now, and
Yeah.
and then the weather. It's not just you're getting information, but you're also having to deal with these weather emergencies that are catastrophic. That's like the only word to really use. It's
Yeah. And it is a reflection on the energy around that, that area, what you're drawn to,
yeah,
washing away, worrying about the winter or whatever. Whatever draws you into this area, you've prepared for this deep emotional impact
yeah,
that may or may not happen. So you're always kind of guarded. There are people that can't even get insurance anymore,
right.
and their houses are destroyed. What are they going to do?
Well, they're going to probably move. I mean, the climate does determine where people live. Um, and sometimes it happens all at once, and sometimes it happens gradually. But we're going to have to figure that out.
Yeah.
I mean that's going to be part of there's a reorganization that's probably necessary as to where people live. I mean, I live 10 minutes from the bridge to Cape Cod. I'm at sea level,
Yeah.
so I mean,
Yeah.
I'm going to have to maybe go to higher ground at some point in my life.
Yeah.
So
I can't. It just really blows my mind. It really does. It's a beautiful, beautiful part of the country. It's absolutely gorgeous. And every part has some kind of thread, whether it be fault lines or hurricanes, tornadoes. there's always that energy around. It's usually in between, like you said, and around mountain ranges and stuff like that. But that's not, I'm not good with that.
Yeah, it's I don't know. I mean, we'll see what happens, but you know, hopefully the people that we know are all safe and sound, and we'll know after a few days when people start getting their cell and their electricity back. We'll know what really happened. But so if you're out there, you know that we're sending our love
Yeah.
and our healing energy. Michael and I send stuff out all the time. Reiki and his receivings and the reconnection and all the healing modalities that we know. So you were saying that you wanted to pull some cards on the message from the wind.
Since it's like this hurricane effect thing going on, and it's rattling the windows. And I will put this video out tomorrow. You're not going to believe the waves. I almost took a picture of my pants when I got home, and I had to peel them off because they were all wet. And I held them up. I'm like, I'm going to take a picture. This is how wet I got. And you could see just my butt outline. It's dry. I said, no, I don't think so. I think people will see that I did, in fact, get splashed by this hurricane. And today, and tomorrow, obviously at Beach Hazard Day, there are no boats on the water. Very, very high winds and very, very high waves. So I sat down in a moment to just decompress and not have any music on or anything and said, well, what does the wind have to say? What is this hurricane? What does this wind have to say? And I pulled one card, and it was about an adventure. The Andromeda, which is what the night sky looks like. And I wake up, I get up and go to the window immediately, like 3, 2:30, whatever weirdo time in the middle of the night that I get up and see what's going on out there. And I wait until the sun comes up. It's a portal. And there was that one in the window. It says, "We the Hathors, deep love, mother's milk, birth is a portal. Birth as a portal."
So the Hathors are connected to Taurus, the energy of Taurus, because they were the cow-headed.
It's really interesting because it makes me feel like the spirits of the water, there's the waters in the background on the bottom there, are, kind of acknowledging that, yeah, they're out there, and I should probably read the thing and see what that means, honestly, and Uranus is in Taurus, so everything's changing quickly and getting whipped around, right?
Yeah. Yeah, the ground shaking beneath our feet. So
Taurus. Yeah.
Taurus. Yeah.
Yeah. What did you get?
I picked 3 cards from the Guardians of the Night Tarot. I got the 2 of Swords. Whoops. And there's a frog on the 2 of Swords. Now, each one of these cards has like an animal association with it.
I love that deck.
And the frog, I know, is about cleansing and healing, right? The frogs can live either on the land or so it's that energy of being able to live on the land and in the water. So this is a decision, right? Or being at a stalemate and having to make a decision.
But look at how it's just like balancing itself above
the water.
The water.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's interesting.
right?
Mhm.
So to go to higher ground. The King of Wands,
Okay.
which is the lion. So this is about courage. It's also about dominion, having dominion, and then the Tower.
Yeah.
So
A Uranus related
yes, yeah,
thing too.
And Mars related, right? Mars is in Cancer right now.
Mars is in Cancer.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's see what kind of resources we have and get it. This is Mars in Cancer makes me feel like we have resources available and they will be distributed appropriately.
Well, I hope so. Although I think like if this happens, say at the end of the Trump administration, when we were when we were in the midst of COVID and trying to get vaccines out, and the Trump administration had pretty much stripped a lot of different things, and I heard that they actually, when Maria hit um, Puerto Rico, they actually held back the money. They were supposed to send a certain amount of
Oh,
money, and they kept holding back on it.
yeah, yeah, because there was no quid pro quo. You know, the president of Puerto Rico apparently never answered the phone.
Yeah. Well, that's because she was out in the floodwaters trying to save. Well, that was the mayor
That was the mayor, but
that was the mayor of the capital city. Oh my God, what's the name of the capital city? San Juan. That was the name of
she
the.
was badass.
She probably still is, man.
Right? Okay.
Yeah, you don't mess with a Puerto Rican sister like that and expect they'll call you out faster than it hit you.
I
Yeah.
also have a strong, and it's not, it might be when I'm smoking, but I'm smoking spearmint and it's overriding this. And this started yesterday. Eucalyptus. I have a little plant here. It's just in water, and I checked on it. I'm like, nope, it's okay. And it just sort of like kind of like override the whole day. So
That's interesting. I've had
it's kind of
eucalyptus.
a cure-all for everything. It's very inexpensive, but it makes me sort of thread together that these kinds of things can start viruses, any waterborne thing which affects the lungs immediately,
Hmm.
stomach lining,
Right.
lung lining, any of those things can be affected. And eucalyptus oil is the you know antidote for how many times did you have your head over a bowl of eucalyptus oil and hot water during a cold?
Yeah. Well, and you think about like people are going to be wet and soggy and things are going to get moldy. And so the lungs are put in a bad situation there. Not to mention that the lungs hold grief in Chinese medicine. So
Yeah.
there's going to be a lot of grief. And I feel like, the other day Ona said, Florida's something,
Yeah.
which we won't repeat. And I and what was my response to that? Hold on, what did I say? Oh my goodness, it just left my brain. I hate when that happens. My brain just fell out of my ear. But yeah, so I mean, I think that we have to take real good care of our lungs at this time, especially with flu season
Yeah,
and
inflammation.
stress.
Yeah, anything like that, because it is getting upon that season where the bones and Saturn sort of takes over, and like you chip your teeth and you break your ankles and you slip on ice and you got a new shoulder. Like you
Yeah,
replace all your joints because you don't you want to be more active in the summer, so these surgeries happen more in the wintertime. Obviously, orthopedic stuff when you live near the snow.
Well, oh, I remember what I said to you. You were talking about the amount of rain that there was going to be,
Yes.
and I said it's Mother Nature crying for her children.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So all of
Yeah.
this rain is the feelings. We're having the feelings. We're feeling our feelings, and once the North Node moves into Pisces, then woo, all bets are off on how many feelings we're going to have.
That's going to be very, very interesting. It's
Yeah.
really, it went fast, a year and a half with the nodes in Aries and Libra. And now we got to get used to Pisces and Virgo.
Well, at least it's the axis of healing. So it can bring about quite a bit of healing. And then, of course, Neptune and Saturn are going to conjoin in the first degree of Aries in
Yeah.
2026. So next year really it's a 9 year, so it's a healing year.
Yep.
It's a wrapping things up. It's figuring out what you want to keep and what you want to let go of. And in some cases, people are letting go of a lot because the weather is destroying what they have, right? I mean, I don't know. It's
Doesn't it all loop back to how well can we take care of each other
yeah,
when there's a crisis like this? It's sort of like a test, honestly. This is one of those mini events that strikes our consciousness in getting it together and helping people out.
yeah.
I do it all the time. You get used to it, it's not hard. I'm not going to eat six, like, things of bread. I only need two, but I can give four away on the way home
Yeah.
and hire a pigeon brood for security. I did. I really can. So, and I think we have to become aware of this, that if when you're in need, you need to know people will reach out and
Right.
and you're going to be okay.
Yeah, and if you need something, ask. I mean, ask for something. Most people say yes. Some people will say no, but most people will help you because you'd want to be helped. And most people are good at heart. I mean, all this other stuff is just, it's not the majority. I think the
I
majority.
100% agree with you. I 100% agree with you. This is this really happened. There was a blind guy trying to cross the street. We're by Addison, and I'm standing next to somebody that would scare anybody. He was scary.
Well,
He was scary. I don't know if he just got out of the jail there by the police station. I'm not sure. And this guy was across the street just tapping his cane all over Addison and Halsted. Like he's never going to make it across the street. So I go across there and I talk to him. I said, "Sir, I'll get you across the street." Grab my arm. "What is your name?" And I looked at the gangbanger dude and I said, "Come on, it's your turn. It's your turn." And he came out and I said, "You could do something good today, right?" And we helped him get the rest of the way. And it took a long time. There were a lot of cars beeping. He was walking so slow. He was obviously struggling.
right.
But he can get on the bus, and we left him at the bus station. It's there.
Yes.
You want to be a hero.
Nope.
You do.
And we all can be heroes.
Yeah.
Hero for ourselves, hero for our families, hero
Yeah.
for our neighbors. Yeah. Yeah. I think that's really that's what we need. I mean, there's just too much conflict. We have to resolve it.
I agree. I don't, you know what? maybe I want to be blind to it a little bit because I don't see it here.
Right.
I don't see it in my neighborhood the way it's projected on the media.
Right. Right. Yeah, and the media, they have their thing. I mean, honestly, do I really think that this race is so close? No,
Oh,
no,
absolutely not.
absolutely not.
No.
But they
And it's
want to
not
keep
the
us on pins
bad.
and needles, and they want to keep us watching, and
Yeah. It's not in the bag, but it's not that close. They want you to believe it's that close because they want you to show up because there'll be enough people that'll be like, oh, it's too cold. I don't want to, it's going to happen anyway. Let somebody else take care of that. No, you got to go because we don't want to just win. We want to beat it down.
it's interesting. The states that were hit, three of them could be considered swing states. Florida, they're talking about Florida going blue. They're talking about Georgia going blue, and they're talking about North Carolina going blue. The only one they're not talking about is South Carolina, which also got swamped. They also got swamped.
Yeah, that little corner by
Where
northwest.
Georgia, yeah, Georgia and North Carolina caught to do this little squeeze J thing, and
Yeah,
South Carolina's right there, yeah.
very interesting. We can
Yeah.
be angels, Paula says. Yeah. Yeah, we can be heroes for sure. We can. You want to be.
Oh
Don't
yeah.
you want to be?
I
I
hear
mean,
we can be heroes. Yep.
I know I got a lot of crowd. I have a stellium and Virgo going on. But I do sometimes wake up and think I want to be somebody's angel today. And
Yeah.
I actually say that. Like I'm gonna be somebody's angel today. And something will happen and it just because I make it happen.
Yeah. Yeah, kindness goes a long way, and especially when people aren't expecting it. Even just a smile, so few people smile at each other.
It costs nothing. It is literally pain free.
Right, unless you have like something wrong with your face and it just happens to hurt.
Unless you got the Botox or something like that. But I walk giblets early in the morning. Like there's not a lot of people on the street. I smile at everyone. Everyone. Because
So,
I just remember me, I had a smile on my face.
yeah. Um, I had I had a thing happen to me years ago. I was going for my first um, passport picture. And I was convinced that it was going to come out terrible because everybody's like, oh, passport pictures come out terrible. So I was sitting there, waiting. And there was an older woman sitting with me. And she's like, is this your first passport? And I'm like, yeah, I'm excited. I'm going to Italy. And she said, well, you should, doll up for your passport picture. And I'm like, oh, they say it, so they're all terrible. She goes, no, no. She said, so she fixed my hair. She opened my shirt up, right? Like, because I had like, it just didn't look right. So it was like, so she said, now go in there and know that you're gorgeous. And so I took the picture. It was like the best picture I ever took was my passport picture. Of course, I was 21, so it helped, right? At 21. But no, it's like all your attitude. Like if you think it's gonna be a terrible experience, it's gonna be a terrible experience. If you think it's gonna be a great experience and it's a terrible experience, at least you have the optimism to get through a terrible experience.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
really just does pay to have that positive mindset. And I'm gonna be somebody's angel today, or I'm gonna help somebody, or you know,
Yeah.
because
It's
you never know.
manifestation. It's the manifestation theory. Isn't there? There should be something called the manifestation theory. I know we call the attraction, law of attraction.
Law of attraction.
But it is that whole like if that's my attitude is I'm gonna be somebody's guardian angel today.
Your attitude,
Yeah, you're gonna
your
find it.
attitude, wait, your attitude determines your aptitude? No, your attitude,
I don't know.
your attitude, your altitude. Your attitude determines your altitude. So let's all be high on joy, right? Kamala is showing us the other way. The choice between joy and love and fear, right? The
It's so
ego.
hard, honey. It's so hard because the bar got lowered so low that for people to, appreciate the articulate, the well-read, the law degree, the things that I could not have imagined accomplishing my own 59 years on this fun globe here on Earth. I mean, because the bar is so low, it's hard
Well,
to
just think if the bar is that low, it's easy for people to jump over, and they can jump over to joy.
I think,
Where there's the greatest darkness, there's the greatest light.
yeah,
It's the nature of the time we're in. We have to know the bottom, and we have to have a sense of the top. And we're going
yeah,
to end up in the middle somewhere, which is where we're supposed to be. We're supposed to be doing that, like being in the middle of, but this is a time of change. This is an uncovering. We have a choice to make. What kind of life do you want to live? And if we can, for those of us who aren't stuck in like a war zone, it's even more important
yeah,
because we're not running away. We're not running from bombs. We have the power to help co-create the future through our actions, through the things that we spend money on, all kinds of ways. By helping people, by getting the word out, by sharing your light, by sharing, in your case, sharing your art, me sharing my knowledge as best I can. That's what you can do. That's
yeah,
what you can be, the best you. If you're the best you, then at least you have a fighting chance, I think.
yeah, yeah. So true.
So we have an eclipse coming up. I thought I might want to mention a little bit about that. We're going to be having a moon shadow episode, probably Monday or
Yeah.
maybe Tuesday. I think the full moon, the new moon is Wednesday. It's an eclipse.
Is it this? It's the second, right? That would be
Yeah, it's
when the
Wednesday.
leader of Hezbollah was killed. I wrote that down in my journal.
Yes. Yeah.
That just happened today.
I heard that they're
I
carpet
want the
bombing.
self know tomorrow, but you know what? Let's watch this. Let's watch that happen.
Well,
Right.
this is the same eclipse series that started the war. So we'll see. Hopefully, it doesn't mean that it's going to extend, although it probably is somewhat
This
because
new
there's
moon is on
there.
Rosh Hashanah. Yeah. We talked about this in class. Yeah. 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 This Wednesday at it would be 1:49 Central, 2:49 Eastern, and west of here, I don't know where it splits off, but somewhere around noon 49, I guess you would end up in. Interesting.
The
So
uh,
we're
the path the path of the eclipse goes through the Pacific. All right, so now no, the only place I saw that it went over, interestingly enough, is Easter Island.
where's Easter Island?
It's in the Pacific.
Okay.
It's where they have those giant statues that were buried in the sand. Do you know the giant men with the long heads?
Did I just pull that card?
You pulled the Hathors, right? That's Egypt.
The Hathors. Do they
Yeah.
look like that? Okay, yeah. So the eclipse. This, yeah, we're not going to be able to see anything.
No.
It'll
No.
still look like the middle of the day.
Right, because the path isn't coming over us. Luckily.
I'm actually glad about that. I'm glad that the path is just a little bit because we just had a lunar one, and you know, and we're watching and we're watching.
Yeah,
And
I think the lunar energy was definitely seen in the hurricane. You know, I mean, definitely with all that Pisces, and it just inundation, right? Inundated. Mhm.
I also like follow the astronomy, the Adler Planetarium thing, and there's a comet that is supposed to be visible before the sun comes up starting in October.
Oh,
Maybe, maybe not. They're projecting that it should be.
hmm.
And they'll let you, they always do shorts and stuff. So I wrote that down too for next week. So it's gonna be an interesting week.
Well, it's going to be an interesting week that starts an interesting month.
Oh my god. Oh my
We
god.
This is the month, right? I mean, where the election happens on the 3rd, right? It's a Tuesday. So this is the month. This is when it's all gonna, you know.
All the early voting stuff. Don't be afraid to. We vote in the lobby of my building, so I had to mail in versus actually go there. I would actually go there.
Yeah. Yeah. So
So
it also depends on like what the law is. I know Georgia has some really weird law now, and there might be parts of Georgia that who knows if they're with this weather. You know what I mean?
yeah,
They're gonna have to get in there, get people. I remember right before, wasn't it right before Obama won his second term? We had Hurricane Sandy, and I think that was the same year, 2012. I think, if I could be wrong, but I think that's. I'm not so good on the years anymore. I can't.
I know they all melted together. That's okay. We've been telling people that's going to happen. The timelines just sort of like dissolve away. And the only things that you remember are things that made a big impact on you, your spirit, your soul,
Yeah.
right? Witnessing an accident or, figuring out what's going on. A personal event. You have to think about the year. After like 2016, I don't know, like most of it just kind of chilled together. But I could remember by where I was and how old I was. Yeah. It's supposed to happen.
Yeah.
That's an excuse.
Oh, so let's see here. An attitude of gratitude. That's right, Kathy. An attitude of gratitude. Hey, Cindy's with us. Hi, Cindy. Like sand through the hourglass. Our days are numbered, so I am spending them in happiness, gratitude, and love to be here for the first Madam President. Oh, can you? I actually gave myself permission to feel that feeling today
Yes.
of what it's going to be like when she wins, like the joy and it was such a bubbling up. I didn't even expect it. I was like, oh, let me, because you just, it's like you're afraid to breathe sometimes. You're like, you know. So
Oh
it
my
felt
God.
really good. I felt the joy. I felt the relief. I felt the like, oh, we can finally get something done here.
If something were to happen to Joe and she had to step in at this point,
Yep.
does that change anything?
She would still have to win to be president, of
She'd
course.
have to be sworn in
Yep.
and she would still have to win.
Yes. Yes. Unless something happened to, I guess, if something happened to the other candidate. I mean, I don't know. Like, this is all, he's not doing so well.
No.
Although it kind of depends on what you're watching, because sometimes you watch him and He sounds like he's totally with it, but is that real? Like, was that a real thing? Like, I don't even know. Like,
I think it's the professional videographer and photographer's job to
yeah.
make them look as professional as possible.
Yeah, and they can get him for 20 minutes, and then after 20 minutes, they have to stop rolling because then
They
he starts.
gotta find 20 minutes and edit it all together. Never
Um,
lasts that long. There's no way his attention span's 20. He can't reach like a 30-second concept. He's she's just it's that bad. That's what this is, obvious clinical signs, and I don't know why we're the only ones talking about it.
no, I don't think we're the only ones talking about it, but certainly the media is. I don't think. Well, I don't watch the media anymore, so they may not be. They may be talking about it. I'm just not aware, right?
Yeah, maybe.
What was I going to say? I did a reading on whether we were going to get the House or the Senate today,
Yes, yes.
and
I
the
saw this.
House was a definite yes. The Senate, there was something going
Yeah,
on at the end there,
yeah.
but I think we're going to get it anyway. And I have a feeling that there might be some problem around Texas, and and I don't know. I think Texas might be we might almost, or we might actually win and then take it away from us or something. I don't know.
This would be Ted Cruz and Allen.
No, his name is A.L. something something. I don't know. Aldridge, Aldrin, something like that.
And he's sort of like gaining momentum on Ted Cruz. Yes, I would definitely say that would be contested.
Yeah.
Because we're dealing with the toddler there.
Well, we're dealing with Texas, and they are notorious for cheating. I mean, I think Beto won back in the day, but you know.
It is the biggest state, the biggest landmass, right?
No, I think uh, uh, Arkansas. Sorry, Arkansas. Alaska is the largest. I think it's Alaska, Texas, and then California. I think
I
that's.
didn't even
I think it's Alaska.
put Alaska into the mix there. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they don't have a lot of. They don't have a lot of votes in Alaska because it's not as populated.
Yeah.
Texas is a big state with a lot of people.
And a lot of electoral votes.
A lot.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's the problem.
Now, wouldn't it be interesting if Florida went blue? I would like to see that.
At least purple, right? Like Arizona was like purpled out. Tennessee's getting into a purple mode. We're seeing that. I'm good with a gradual change like that.
Innocent Potato said Alaska is much, much bigger. Yeah.
I didn't even think about that.
The most expensive on to cover polls or ads. The most expensive. Heard that they were paying lots of money for ads in Texas and Florida. The DNC was just there this week. Yeah. Yeah, I think Bernie and AOC are going down there. They're pulling in the big guns. They want the youth vote, I guess, right?
It was it a crime in the crosshairs of the eclipse? Was it Texas, Oklahoma? What
I
was
think so. I think it was Corpus Christi, Oklahoma, Tennessee, Southern Illinois, right? It was kind of close to where the Helene went up. And the
yeah,
name Helene, the name Helene vibrates to the Five of Wands, to 31 core, to Mars energy. And I don't know if you ever noticed that the symbol for Cancer looks like a tornado. I mean, looks like a hurricane, right?
I could see. Yeah.
It's the swirling. It's the yin and the yang. That's
Yeah.
what's symbolic of. Yeah, and the movement of that. Yeah. So
It certainly felt like that. Like yesterday. Oh my God. It's like a big washing machine. It was
uh,
just, it's just insane. And like very eye opening, thinking, oh my God, if this is just the tip of that, creating this, oh my God, this is a big deal.
yeah. Yeah. This. I think this storm is not quite to the point of Katrina, but certainly one of those storms that is going to change a lot of things. I think a lot of things, and we just don't know how, you know, exactly what that means yet. I think.
Yeah. Again, I'm getting pulled into that eucalyptus thing where I think it just like take care of your immune system. This is a good time to boot it up anyway. When the flu shots are available, to like load up on the elderberry syrup and all that stuff for the challenges ahead.
Yeah,
If you
absolutely.
choose not to do flu shots and the next vaccine series or whatever is being offered right now, make sure your immune system is up to speed.
Right, right. Yeah, yeah. And use good hygiene when you're out and about. I mean, a lot of times you just catch stuff because you touch something somebody else touched and you rubbed your nose. Just being aware of that can keep you healthy. You don't have to walk around like in a hazard suit, it's
Right.
flu season, right?
Right.
So Kathy says she thinks Texas is going to be lavender blue.
Oh,
I'm
good.
good with that. I love lavender. I
Yeah.
love lavender.
They're on their way. It'll take some time.
Well, I remember when they had a Democratic governor, Ann Richards. I loved her. She was great. She was great. And then George Bush came in, and then just things got worse and worse and worse.
Do you remember when George Bush gave everybody like $200?
Wasn't it 600?
I don't know. I think they only got like 250.
Oh,
Honestly,
maybe it was. Yeah, maybe I got 600 because it was me and my mother or something.
yeah, that wasn't a lot. Do you remember that little incentivization? At least he did that. Like he was just a mess. Like that was a mess. But especially with 9/11 buried in there. But at least he did that. Like, you know,
Well, we have to remember that even though Trump is all over everything, Biden is our president, and we don't have to worry the way we used to worry when Trump was the president, right?
right.
Um, we're thankful. We'll be thankful the Democrats will be in charge and figure out how we're going to navigate these changing times.
We'll navigate it. The resources are there. They're available and we'll get taken care of. Things need to be changed. And it's so hard. It's so hard to change. It's just difficult, but they need to be. The ability for this generation, next generation, the Zers to buy a home is incentivizing people to vote for Kamala and small businesses. Everything, she's really pushing that one.
Yeah.
So we'll see. We'll see.
Well, I've always run my own small business, really. So that's not. It takes a certain ability to reinvent yourself to be able to do that, depending on what you decide. What you're doing actually. But yeah, I think there's so much untapped potential. That's the thing, and people who have had it difficult learn how to be resourceful, and they can take that resourcefulness and apply it to a bigger project, beyond like just trying to survive their life. And it's going to create a lot of really good things. Medusa said, "Women will rise to the occasion." We will.
We
As
always do.
as Kamala rises, we rise with her, and that's why the patriarchal "you have to listen to me, father knows best" bullshit is coming down so hard. But that it's over. That they will lose their power. There'll still be rules. They'll still be kind of a pain in the neck, a little bit pain in the butt. But we'll have, if people's lives start getting better, they're not going to take an issue. When your life gets better, you don't take issue with stuff.
Right. Right.
Read
Absolutely.
Isaac Storm about the hurricane by Eric Lawson. Highly recommended any Lawson books. He wrote a famous book about the Chicago Fair and the doctor who murdered many people. I remember that. That was in the 1800s, I think, yeah, in Chicago. Poor Chicago. You guys have all the murder.
You know what? I gotta say, I want to do. I have to do one of those history tours, neighborhood walking tour, cemetery tour this fall. It- I have to because there's so much of that energy. Some of these buildings were built during that whole Bannon Capone time, the the hotels that are still residences built in the early 1900s. I mean, some shit went down. Bootlegging. I have to do that. I've been the St. Valentine's Day Massacre site is just a parking lot in front of a senior center, and they all yell at you out the window, "Get out of here!" There's nothing really to see there, but there's so much more that is really grabs you. I mean, it's really neat. It's interesting.
Kathy asked, did we pull cards on the state of peace at the time of the election?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Let's pull cards on that. I think that's a good one. I'm going to use my famous and favorite hermetic.
Are you going to feel peaceful? Or are you going to feel overwhelmed?
Well, we'll see let's look at the energy around the election.
You mean peace, like physical peace?
I think she means just peace, like not incidences, if you know what I mean.
Yep. State of peace at election time.
Okay. Oh dear, look at that.
Uh-oh.
No, it's good.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, everything. Innocent Potato said the building Oprah used was a morgue when that ship fell over. And I can't remember the name of the ship, but it was huge and it was really, I think it starts with an E.
Edmund Fitzgerald?
No, 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 no.
Oh, that's Superior.
Yeah.
Superior, they say, never give up her dead.
Tons of history and the fire. I mean, yeah, water tower is still there.
Okay, so this is the cards I got. I got the Last Judgment, first card.
Okay.
So this is about an awakening and it's about choice, right? And then we get, after the awakening choice card, we get the Queen of Wands, which
Okay, good.
is
Thank you.
one of my cards for Kamala. Then I get the the King. Is this, hold on, is this the King? Yeah, this is the King of Swords. Um, so this is a legal thing. I feel like there's something to do with legality, or perhaps there's going to be a more of a police presence to keep things peaceful, because that can be police. And then I get the Star, which is
Okay.
the democracy card, so that's very positive. And the Four of Cups, which in this deck is Lord of Blended Pleasure. So I would say that emotions might be high, but I feel like there are places taking steps to keep things quiet. I think there's going to be more of a police presence at polling places, and that might dissuade some people from like really causing any trouble. But I think a lot of people are just going to send in they're going to send in their votes via mail, because that is really, as long as you have a good state for that, it's the safest thing to do. What did you get, Ona?
Not the same. Not the same. Like this is gonna ruin him. I got the Knight of Pentacles for peace. Is there going to be peace? So I would say Knight of Pentacles might be security. This might be a badge, that pentacle, right?
Mm-hmm.
The Lover's card.
Okay.
All right. 10 of Swords, ruin,
Ruin, yep.
and Death of the Devil.
Oh, yes.
Death of the Devil, who looks like Melania and Baron are in the boat there with them too, pushing offshore. Can that be correct? And then we've got the Ace of Swords. The swords are thoughts, ideas. They're not necessarily messages, but things happening quickly.
It could just be justice. It could be the balancing of the scales. Finally, like the
Thank
decision,
you.
the decision is made.
The Lovers and the Devil, right?
Yeah, they're the same card, really.
They're the same card, and that happened before with the Lovers. There was the debate, I think, where they came up as the Lovers. It's just the male and female in a contractual agreement sort of thing. And then the Devil card, where they are bound by that contract, and it splits off. And then Six of Swords and Ace of Swords. So I think it's going to kill him.
Oh wow. I'm picking three cards on whether we're gonna have a blue tsunami. I picked two already, so I'm just waiting for the third one to come up. Ugh, I love this. All right, first card up, the Ace of Wands. That would be a big fat yes. After that, we get the Empress, the goddess, right? And then the Three of Cups, celebration.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So I feel very, very confident that this is the last time that we'll have to deal with this type of competition from his orange creepiness.
Well, and then he's going to be, then all the legal stuff is going to come down on him pretty hard.
There's so much more to the poor people in Haiti that are getting like threats. What kind of sick shit is that? Are suing them.
I know.
Good.
Well, they're suing both of them. Chances are they ain't going to get any money out of Trump, but they might get some money out of what's his name? Vance, he's a billionaire, right? He's got $1 billion or some ridiculous thing, or $1 million. His actor has $1 billion. I just, my greatest hope is that we can heal the rift between the masculine and the feminine. I think that's going to be an important part of it. I think we have to
Yeah,
focus.
because we're gonna get super badass now. Innocent
We've always been super badass.
like super badass.
We knew we were super badass. Now the guys know. They've always been afraid of us anyway.
Innocent Potato said the SS Eastland, yeah, and it was on its way to a company picnic. But the weird thing about the Eastland was it was like, 200 feet offshore, and it was just they couldn't get to the people, and it was this big disaster. It was like a big deal, and that was there's a lot of morgue, cemetery, temporary burial areas, and all kinds of things. I know Graceland got moved. I'm right by there, and all the other old historic cemeteries, and they have tours. So I'm definitely I want to. I mean, they're so active when I'm in there. Right? I would love like anybody that comes to visit me. We go through Graceland Cemetery. I want you to tell me how you feel, because when I'm in there, it's so active. I want somebody to put some of that into perspective for me in a tour, because it's like everything. Like you think it's quiet, not the cemetery.
Well, I live in an old, not quiet house. I used to live down the street from a not quiet cemetery in a not quiet house. Yeah, yeah. They see the light. You're like a light. You're like a night light. You're walking through the cemetery, and you're like a night light, and you're like, "Oh, what's that bright shiny thing?" And they look to you.
There's the wildlife is protected in there, so coyotes and weird ass birds and all kinds of stuff is in there. So the noises are different. They affect you differently, and you feel the energy of that noise. And just like you go up to stuff and touch it, because some of it is Art Deco.
Oh,
artisan glass.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful. What was I going to say? Last night we heard a hoot, a great horned owl.
We
haven't seen them, but we've heard them. Yeah. Athena is here with us.
I wonder
if the wisdom.
Yeah. When the birds were about themselves all over, and hearing the owl, and when I lived in Tennessee, there was an owl. There was a really bad rainstorm, super windy, and I was inside the house, and it flew towards the house and went like up on the roof, and I'm inside the house, and I'm like, oh my God, like I ducked as if it was. That's how this massive bird, and it kind of moved. I'm like, this is a bad storm. I've never seen anything like that. So the birds have a lot to say. They know what's going on.
Yep.
It's so weird. And I know it's migratory season, and there's a lot I don't know about, how they do that and the birds that we have protected here. But I know when they act weird.
Yeah. Yeah, we've had a lot of bird stuff happening. Even our parrot has been much more excited and really like not himself, really.
Yeah.
He senses the energy as well. So
yeah.
Well, ladies, hopefully, and gentlemen, if there's any gentlemen here, I don't want to assume there are no gentlemen. But this has been a lovely time to spend with you guys. Next week we'll be on Ona's channel. That's Ona's Tarot at 7 Eastern, 6 Central for Mystic Sisters Live. And we'll figure out as the week goes on what that's going to be about. tonight it was about the weather.
Yes, if you're planning on coming back and you want to ask a question, and there's a lot going on this coming week, rolling into October and the new moon and the solar eclipse.
And we'll be putting the new moon out. We'll be putting moon shadows out on my channel probably within the next 2 days. And if anybody is interested, I just want to make a quick announcement. I'm going to be starting a class. I think it's going to be the first week of, it's going to be in October. It might start the first week. It might start the second week. It's Monday evenings, and it's going to be fundamentals of evolutionary astrology. So if anybody, is interested in that kind of astrology, that's the class that's going to be happening. So I just wanted to let people know. You can always email me if you have questions about that. I haven't put it up on my website yet because I haven't decided what day it's going to start, but I'll keep everybody posted on that. So.
Do it. Take the class.
Do you have any announcement?
Just visit us at Time Out with Giblets on Sunday morning, and I will have the water video out probably the same day. I have to sort of tell you how I kind of fix it together and what's going on, because there's no sound. It was so windy. There's no break, and there's just wind and water. The Giblets will pull a card and help us navigate through the week. This past week was transformational. Okay.
Yeah, no kidding, right?
It was.
All right, guys, everybody out there, please stay safe. We love you. If you need help, ask. If people need help. I mean, we're here for each other, and we have a lot of work ahead of us, but we also have a lot of fun and a lot of joy ahead of us. So
yeah.
Let's get into the joy.
All the good stuff is ahead.
Yeah.
Be somebody's hero tomorrow.
Jibs is going to be my hero tomorrow.
He's mine every day.
Okay, guys, have a great rest of the weekend. Please stay safe, and we will see you sooner for moon shadows, and next week on Ona's channel for Mystic Sisters Live. We love you.
Bye, guys.